Good afternoon, Debbie Holloway here. Really great information I want to share with you today. Before I get into that, just a little housekeeping. If you haven't, set your notifications so that when I go live, it'll let you know and you can join me because I love to have more people here. Secondly, let's think about this. There's not going to be a wire event that I know of this year. But that's okay. Why don't we do a wire event in your town? If you think you can get together 50 women, whether they're mortgage, real estate, title, any type of service that influences real estate, let me know and let's do that in your town. I think it's a great opportunity if you're a company for a recruiting event. I think it's a great opportunity to get together with other like-minded women and see how we can support each other. So I want you to think about that and reach out to me and let's see if we can't do something in your town to help other women that are doing what you're doing. So, conversation for today. How many of you feel as though it's hard for you to balance everything? How many of you feel that way? Or maybe there aren't enough hours, thank you Eileen Rivera, to get shit done. Love my mug. Think about this. Don't we all go through that from time to time? I was having lunch yesterday with someone who I admire greatly. She's in the banking industry. And she said, and I'm going to be doing something for all of the women in her bank. And I said, what is the biggest challenge? And she said, I think for women, it's two things. One, it's making it in a man's world. And think about this, banking and mortgage, it's a little different than real estate. That's what I loved about real estate. There really isn't a glass ceiling, although there are still issues we deal with. The second was work-life balance. And that's what I want to talk about today. Marie Young, and I really appreciated her posting this. She posted an article from Harvard Business Review, and the title was, "If you're so successful, why are you still working 70 hours a week?" How many of you feel like, I'm working way too much, I don't have enough time for my family, and then when I am with my family, I'm working? If you would, just put a little thumbs up or a heart if that sounds like you. Because Robin, thank you, you're very nice. We don't feel like we can get it all done. But what it said in this article, and I think it made perfect sense, and very much so for women, is that the reason people do that is that they likely see others that are working like that, so they assume that's what they need to do as well. I can remember when I got in real estate, the most successful gal, her name was Roseanne Irvin. She was just the coolest woman ever. But she worked a lot. So I figured, well, if she works a lot, well, then I better work a lot. And I'm very much of a workaholic anyway, so I was working 24/7. I mean, major burnout, not being there for my family, going through a divorce for other reasons, but it just made me work that much more. The thing is, we do that many times because we see others doing it, or someone says, the ones that work the hardest get all the business. I think it's really the ones that work the smartest, because the people that work the hardest do get business, but it's at a substantially higher personal price that they pay for that. The second thing in this article that Marie shared with all of us, why are we working 70 hours a week if we're so successful? And I thought it was spot on for women. Insecurity. Insecurity about our abilities, insecurity about our knowledge, insecurity about every little thing around us. And because we as women carry those insecurities, many times we are trying to be all things to all people, and we're not really good for anybody, especially ourselves. So my thought for you today, and I think this goes hand in hand with, my gosh, find 50 plus 60 plus women in your community. Let's do a wire event in your town. Why not? I am more than happy to do that. If what I can do pays it forward to women in your community, and you all find it easier to work together, you find it easier to be successful and maybe not work so much, isn't that a big win? So I think this goes hand in hand. If you want to be successful, I believe you have to have parameters around what you do. Here is my day. I left a message for Kim Meeker yesterday, and in her voicemail it says, if this call comes in after 6 p.m., your call will be returned tomorrow morning. That's not bad service. It's like I said last week, why not set it up so that when someone calls into your office, they get a recording that says, hey, this call may be recorded for quality purposes. I think that's really important anymore. Yes, Jessica, I love Destin, Florida. Are you kidding me? We should do something there. I have a really good friend down there that would help as well, a fellow coach that lives in not Williston. Yeah, I think it's Williston or Ocala, someplace like that. Anyway, so if you want to be successful, set guidelines around what you will and won't do. Set guidelines, or as Tom said to me, focus on work when you're at work, focus on family when you're at home. Find people that can do what you don't like to do and bring them in to help you. There are so many things you can do to be successful, to provide that great client experience that doesn't require you 24/7. What I would ask for you to do is post here, what is something you do to maintain balance and still be successful? It's a good question, isn't it? If you want to do that, if you want to be successful and not work 70 hours a week, I would get in a mastermind of successful women. And by the way, how many of you coming out to our elite event in a couple of weeks? It's the 27th and 28th of January in San Diego. I'll be there. A lot of the women from WIRE, which, by the way, did you notice I changed the name to Women Influencing Real Estate? Because a lot of people didn't know what WIRE meant. So I want more people to know so more people can join us. But anyway, so we'll try to get together while we're out there. If you're coming out to that event, I encourage you, oh good, Maureen, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I encourage you to hook up with other women and create a mastermind group, or simply ask the question. Like I would ask Maureen, who has 4 babies, Maureen, how are you so successful, top agent in your town, and yet have time for your family? There are so many women out there that have one little tool that they're using, one little technique. Like simply the answering machine thing that says your call will be returned tomorrow if it comes in after 6 or after 7 or whatever. Or like Alicia Essig, who is I think just a hero of mine. When she pulls into the garage at home, she turns her car off, she turns her cell phone off, and she walks in the door. She leaves it in the car. Car off, cell phone in the car. She goes in the house, she spends time with the family, does dinner. This is like 5 or 6 o'clock. Then when the gals have gone to bed, her daughters, she'll go get the phone around 8 or 9 o'clock, check it to see if there's an emergency. And if there's no emergency, she doesn't respond. So think about what is something you do that helps you create balance and not work these 70-hour weeks, because I believe we as women do it because of insecurity. You know what we should do is get our WIRE women together at the elite event, Maureen, and let you talk about this. Or Maureen, why don't you do one of my WIRE Wednesdays for me and talk about how do you delegate this huge business you have and still take care of all those beautiful babies of yours? So I would highly encourage you to do that. Nevertheless, bottom line, I would like to hear from you guys. What is something you're doing that creates that balance so that you are still successful, but not working 70-hour weeks and having no time for family? What is something that you do? I encourage you. No, I challenge you to share with this group something you're doing, or ask a question. That's what we're here for. There are over 8,000 great minds in this group, and growing it every day. So I would challenge you to ask the question or post what you're doing. And I think what I'll do is, Maureen, let's have you do next Wednesday's WIRE call for me and talk about how do you delegate? Who do you have to have? What do you delegate? How do you make your day work so that you have balance? Fair enough, ladies? Does that sound good? If that's something you'd like, just click some thumbs up or hearts. So Maureen, it looks like, yes, you will be doing this next Wednesday at the same time. It's no more than 15 minutes. That's always been the goal. So get with me and we'll talk about it beforehand, and I think that would help. Meantime, between now and then, I want you to take a look at each one of your days. How am I doing? Let's do a time management study. What am I doing every 30 minutes? Because most of you are going to find that what you're doing every day is not income producing, it's income servicing. I love that, Denny. I love that. To-do list has a completion due column. I love that. Most of us are income servicing when we need to be income producing. Think about that in your business. So post your questions, post your ideas. I appreciate what Denny Kate posted that she's done. And Maureen will be joining you next Wednesday. Like I said, if you're interested in a wire event in your town, 50 or more women, I think there's some phenomenal ways to do it. Probably could even find sponsors. Happy to help you guys do it. I think we have to continue to pay it forward to other women, support them in what they're doing, because what we give away always comes back twofold. You ladies make it an amazing day.